Hello, hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. Good to see you here today. We're going to be getting started shortly. Let's see here. Give me just a second to get things sorted. Go ahead and rehost this here. Let's see. Sorry, just getting our competitors sorted out. I thought I had this ready to go, but I guess not. It's all good. Get it sorted. Okay, how are y'all doing this morning? Doing good, doing good. Where are signups? On Discord, Legion. It looks like we're basically full for today, unfortunately. I don't have a ton of time to stream. I only have a couple of hours, so I don't think I'm going to be able to fit any more in today, but yes, you're in the right place. Usually I'll announce about an hour or so before, and, you know, put out a ping on Discord in that specific channel, and then, yeah, you either message me there in that channel or PM me, and I'll get you on the list. Alright, looks like we got Stormrunner in here. We're going to have Tesla up first. And let's go ahead and get things swapped on over. Get the map pick locked in. I'm going to go for some... let's do some Central Chaos Waste. You know what? Let's do Northern Chaos Waste to start. Interesting one. Just kidding. I actually don't like that one very much. We'll go Plane of Spiders. Hello, hello, Sixth Science. We got Rubber Duck in here. Just sat down from work with a takeaway. Beautiful. That sounds like a grand old time. Lux just played against 3 Dawi in a row. Definitely feels bad. Good, good, good. Welcome, welcome. So, let me get these guys set up. Alright, we'll go ahead and let Tesla pick double ban here. On the Plane of Spiders, hello, hello. Yes, good to see you all. Gonna be a good time today. We should have some good games. This music rolling here in the meantime. Just something to tide us over while they're picking their armies. Currently, Tesla is going to take greenskins, ban, counts, and coast. Very good choices. Skin's definitely very strong right now, and spoiler alert. Sorry, I adjusted my microphone there. That's kind of probably a little loud for you guys. Give me just a sec, actually. Okay, so, spoiler alert, I have a video coming out soon, and it is my tier list, so if you don't want it spoiled, go ahead and mute just briefly. I'll give you a few seconds in case you're, you know, washing your dishes or something. You gotta dry your hands off real quick. Go ahead and mute, or just skip forward like 20-30 seconds. Okay, pause. Okay. Greenskins came out on S tier. It's pretty amazing, to be honest. And yeah, I should say it's not my tier list. It's actually someone else's tier list. I'm just kind of parroting it because while I don't agree with it 100%, I think it largely follows a correct methodology, and you know, I trust the sources to a degree, and also I can easily run it through my own bias and you know, clearly bring up the Empire, you know, overemphasize the power level of undead, and probably, you know, I don't know, something else. Yeah, it's true. From all their, the DLCs and everything, greenskins are in a much, much stronger position than before. So I'm excited to see what they can do here. They definitely still have rough matchups against all of the undead, in my opinion. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be, though, given that WoW gives map-wide immune to psychology. Yeah, tier lists are OP. Yep, it's true. Tier lists are OP. Definitely over. I don't know about overpowered. I was trying to think of another P word. Overhyped doesn't start with a P. But yeah, it's interesting. The tier list is actually Falcon's, and yeah, he's going to be putting the full discussion up on his channel. We had like a 2-hour podcast, basically, where we talked about it. Talked about his tier list. And that's going to be going up on his channel pretty soon. Pretty excited for that. I'm going to be doing a smaller, like maybe just a few clips from that, uploading that on this channel so you guys can get a little bit of a preview. And then I'll probably, in that video as well, kind of give my summary and thoughts at the end and sort of do my modified version of his tier list. But yeah, it's going to be good. Arsenic Blob with Stone Trolls. Yeah, Stone Trolls are very strong. The Missile and Magic Resistance combined together means that something like Fireball, which is normally something you could use to like chip away models, right, is totally useless because it does Missile and Magic damage. Just dropping something over here. Biggins destroy Graveguard. Yep, Black Knights and Blood Knights. Blood Knights are very strong still in that matchup. They can kill most units on the Greenskins roster, especially given that they can heal quite efficiently, and like, yes, Biggins will chop them up in melee, but if they get a clean charge on Biggins, they can do a ton of damage. That's probably your best bet in that matchup, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Coast and Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings may be the hardest, I might say. I don't know for sure, but Coast is also not super difficult. It can be boring and tedious, but it's not super difficult. Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm going to ready this up so these guys can start loading in. Let me go grab something. I'll be right back. Hey, what's up, Marcus? Thanks, man. I thought it was fun. I had fun making it, as I often do with my thumbnails and titles. But yeah, it's yeah. The interesting thing is, in this matchup, you have to be like the Greenskins player. You have to be very careful because you only have a few charges of fungus, and you have to use it on the right units, right, at the right time. Now, flip side, for the vampire counts perspective, if you can bait the Greenskins player into using, like, you can even sacrifice one reasonably high value unit, and whether that's like, you know, whatever knights. I wouldn't say you want to sacrifice Blood Knights ever, but even something like Verex Reavers is pretty good in this matchup because Greenskins don't have any fire damage. The ROR Black Knights with Lances and Barding, their regeneration, they have pretty good stats too. They're basically like Reiksguard, but a little bit worse in terms of their stats. Probably pretty comparable with Empire Knights, actually, with better charge. But those guys, like, they can tank out a lot of damage, right? So where was I even going with this? Yeah, so if you can bait out the fungus or, you know, effigy of the Git or Mither or whatever the control tools the greenskins have, if you can bait that out on something that's a little bit cheaper or even like maybe a corpse card or something, then that's going to give you a big advantage there. So the greenskins, you have to be very careful. If you are going to take Skarsnik in that matchup, you got to be very careful about when you use that. It's definitely much easier than it used to be, though. That matchup used to be completely cursed. Kemmler, you say Kemmler. Actually, Kemmler I like a lot in most matchups. Banshees are also super solid picks here. Greenskins do have a good amount of magic damage, but it's kind of timing based, right? Like, they don't have any units that deal magic damage baseline. That being said, someone like Grimgor does have enough weapon strength to just beat the brakes off of a Banshee anyway. You do have to be a little bit careful. Grimgor is not, like, meta in that matchup by any means, but anyway. Let's stop talking about that matchup. We'll go ahead and fade the music out here. And let's talk about this matchup. We've got a wild Blessed Field Trebuchet already firing in on the greenskins here. Looks like some fire arrows. Interesting, no pox arrows. I think that's a big mistake, definitely always. You pretty much always want to have them now. Grail Knights, Companions of Cornell, Grail Knights. So going very heavy in the elite calves. Speaking of ethereals against greenskins, we do have here the Green Knight. Solid choice. A Damsel Lore of Life and Raponce. Interesting. So we're going for a Raponce buffing cav blob. I love Raponce's animations, by the way. Her idle animations. Let's just kind of sit here and appreciate. Hopefully she does the, like, sun sword thing. Come on. I just saw you do it a minute ago. Anyway, what do we got here? Front line of peasants. Looks like there was a big old miscast. Here we go. Oh, she almost... Oh, she canceled it. Anyway, that's like one of my favorite animations in the game. Spirit Leech from... looks like that's a big old hag. We got Skarsnik, of course. Bob here supporting a Stone Troll blob with a couple of Black Orcs. Doom Divers. Yeah, more Black Orcs, some Gobos out back. Goblin Wolf Chariots, I've been seeing these guys a lot more lately. And I guess people just remember they exist because they took Pump Wagons a few times. Pump Wagons died because they're a little squishier. And then suddenly you realize, like, oh, hey, I have this Wolf Chariot that has 6 models, which is actually pretty good for a chariot. Like, actually very good for a chariot. Also has a skirmish attack, which it doesn't do a ton of damage, but it's something you can use to help do damage against lower armor targets, help kind of harass cavalry. It doesn't really do a lot of damage, like I said, but it's there. Spider Rider archers as well. Interesting builds on both sides. Yeah, this greenskins is scary. Stone Trolls are a nasty unit. I almost think in most matchups now you want to bring some kind of halberds. Ooh, really good contact there, though, on the Black Orcs. From the Blessed Field Trebuchet. It still hasn't fully paid for itself yet, but interesting skirmish fight back and forth. I do like the pick of the Doom Diver here. It's basically like a specialist anti-air artillery. Very accurate, and it's pretty good in a counter-artillery fight as well. Yeah, is the sound turned off right now? It is turned off. Okay, I forgot I did that. There we go. glad I realized, only like, 3 minutes into the battle, whatever. But yeah, it looks like the Goblin Skirmish Force, Mobile Skirmish Force, going to be coming forward at this point. The fire arrows will be able to respond, but there's not a huge volume of fire arrows here, and this is one of the great things about this Skirmish Chariot. You can do exactly this. Just come absolutely rob the Teef, although they are not the Teef robbers specifically, but a beautiful timing push here. Oh, just barely clips 2. Like four of the men-at-arms there before they pull away. The Grail Knights are coming. This is why you want the pox arrows right here. These guys at 92 speed, with the pox arrows, they would be down. I don't know if they would necessarily be down enough that the 75 speed Grail Knights could catch them, but it certainly would be possible if the Grail Knights hit their charge animation at the very least. Potentially. But yeah, right now, Greenskin's kind of pulling back. That was a pretty nice little hit and run there with the Goblin Chariots, and given that the artillery here, the Blessed Field Trebuchet, has been completely destroyed, let's kind of calculate the damage. It's hard to know exactly the amount of value that it's generated here. Maybe like a fifth of the HP on these Black Orcs. A little bit there. Definitely not cost effective, but I see what he was going for there, trying to draw the greenskins to him, potentially, and use that armor-piercing anti-infantry damage to go after the Black Orcs. But now, it's a bit of a problem. The Doom Divers, since this cav are all kind of operating in a big Raponce buff blob, That's an interesting tongue twister. The Doom Divers are going to have a good, like, kind of target-rich environment to shoot at into there. And regardless, you can see he's trying to dodge a little bit here. Storm Runner is, but it is going to just make consistent contact because of the homing there. Thankfully, it doesn't have the biggest explosion, but it will still kind of chip models here and there as the engagement progresses. But a nice kind of engagement here. You can see what I mean about the charge animation with the poison. These guys definitely would have been able to catch those wolf chariots earlier. I think it's like, I get the fire arrows to go after stone trolls, but I really think it's an interesting thing. In this game, halberds actually don't counter monsters like single entity monsters. Halberds actually counter cavalry and monstrous infantry. So I think actually in this matchup you would want to mix in two, probably not more than two, but at least two men-at-arms with pole arms, and then actually probably fight the stone trolls with them in a blob, because the men-at-arms are cheap enough, and with the stat buffs, they will actually trade okay against those stone trolls. Like, for me, as an Empire/Bretonnia player, this is a matchup now where I would consider like one or two halberdiers, or again with the men-at-arms with pole arms, to try and counter these stone trolls specifically. You can see over here that they're currently rolling up a bunch of peasants, as to be expected. But yeah, the Knights are going to roll in here. You can see the Grail Knights, one of the reasons the Stone Trolls are so good here is that Grail Knights do magic damage, right? And Stone Trolls have 30%, or sorry, 25% magic resistance. So you can see the, oh man, Companions of Cornell as well, the ones that don't have magic damage, absolutely got wrecked by Doom Divers there. Some beautiful casts of Fanatics, so yeah, Tesla definitely in a pretty commanding position here with the greenskins. I don't see this going too well, and already a fungi being popped also on, looks like, I'm not sure who exactly that was. Can't see. Oh, it looks like this unit of Grail Knights here. Yeah, that's a great play. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to work out. It's interesting. It's an interesting matchup now because of Stone Trolls. I think probably you want to go with just regular Questing Knights because they don't have magic damage. They do have armor piercing, and like I said, I think, honestly, you probably want to bring a couple of men-at-arms with pole arms here now. May even be worth investing in a Grail Relic to give them extra leadership and immune to psychology in case you come up against a spider. But it's an interesting one. I'll have to kind of theory-craft this matchup a little bit. Again, pox arrows instead of fire arrows. Like, Stone Trolls have such big missile resistance and armor that you don't want to be shooting them with your peasant arrows anyway. Even with the bonus of the fire damage, it really doesn't do enough. So I would say, like, obviously, the Trebuchet is an interesting pick. I don't necessarily hate the pick of that, but I would trade out these Grail Knights. You'd have to find an extra 300 points somewhere, but then you could upgrade them to these two Grail Knights to like 3 more. You'd have to find an extra 300 points somewhere. Like I said, 3 more Questing Knights. So you get 4 or 3 plus the companions, right, in terms of Questing Knights, and then, yeah, I don't know, I might cut the Trebuchet and then bring a Halberd, use the extra funds to kind of allocate to the Cav. It's an interesting one, though. Unfortunately, the Green Knight just really didn't get much of a chance to shine here. He also does magic damage, interestingly enough, so Stone Trolls are a problem for him also. Yeah, you can fermented fungi Cav into them. Yep, it's true, it's true. It kind of negates their slow speed disadvantage. So, okay, let me go ahead and get the next competitor lined up. Go ahead and get, it's like F-Pod it is, so let's queue up some music here. And we'll get him in the game. Give me just a second. Okay, and here we are. let's go ahead and get the map lined up. We'll go to MP Harriot Ridge, because that's one of my favorite maps, and it's has some decent terrain, but it's also reasonably well balanced. It is indeed! Is there a Koth list? There is. There is, Flying Taco. I don't know if I can fit you on today, unfortunately. Same for you, Sarmation. Yes. King of the Hill. Yep, I've been posting these on my own Discord, so if you guys are not in there, definitely join. But, yep, we're here. We are here. King of the Hill. Tesla versus F-Pod. Let's make sure these guys know the rules here. Same rules. Greenskins, no bans then. Okay, so the way this works is you can stick with the same faction with no bans, or the sitting king picks, by the way. Sitting king can pick double ban, but it cannot be the same faction, right? So F-Pod, or Tesla rather, deciding to stick with the Greenskins, understandable. If he's a Greenskins main, the Greenskins are a super strong faction right now, even in their quote-unquote bad matchups. You can still have a pretty good chance of winning. So now F-Pod has a choice. Does he want to try and counter with an undead faction? No, actually, he goes Skaven instead. Very, very interesting choice. Quantity can be better than quality. It depends on the matchup, Davina. Against a faction like Greenskins, it's interesting because a lot of their units are lighter, and Knights of the Realm will do just fine, like Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant. But with Stone Trolls being such a factor right now, I think you need some kind of armor piercing, whether that's Questing Knights. Like I said, 4 Questing Knights I think is probably mandatory against Greenskins right now, with then basically a build to support around that. Or you could bring actually a couple men-at-arms with polearms. Might not be the worst thing in the world here. Who is Tesla? He's a player. Greenskins player. Very good one. Kind of been floating around recently. I don't know if he's played too much in tournaments yet. Like, I don't remember if he played in the ECL yesterday, but he's very solid. Very, very solid. Greenskins versus Skaven, though, it's an interesting one. Grom is basically the obvious pick here, right? Because he's tanky, he's a Chariot Lord, both of which are super important against the Skaven. He also gives AoE immune to Psych, which is kind of nice. Not super critically necessary against the Skaven, but you do tend to see Doom Wheels and or Hell Pits here, so it's nice. Alberic could be good against Greenskins. You know, his AoE attack is pretty decent. The problem is he's also squishy in comparison to a lot of other lords. But yeah, I mean, in theory he's good. The AoE attack, not only does it do a lot of damage, the wave, it does a lot of damage, but also gives a nice leadership debuff, so aura bonus versus large, right, yep, that's, again, pretty good against, if you're fighting a blob of Stone Trolls, for example, with like some Questing Knights, that extra bonus versus large helps a lot. Helps a lot. But there's a problem specifically with Stone Trolls' weapon strength. So, let me actually pull this up here on the side, because I don't want to give away any builds in-game right now by clicking on their armies to show you. But let me just go to Stats website. By the way, guys, if you guys ever want to know about stats of a unit, like, especially hidden stats like attack rate, and, you know, like mass and stuff like that, like stuff you wouldn't necessarily see in-game, this is a great community resource website I've just posted here. It has all of the stats for all of the different units in the game. You can even apply different, like, fatigue modifiers and things, like, look at all of that stuff here. But anyway, I was quickly going to pull up Stone Troll's card here. So I can go ahead and take a look. They have, I want to say it's 110 weapon strength, right? Yeah, with 81 armor piercing, so 120 weapon strength, rather. Okay, so if you calculate, most cavalry models have about 109 HP per model, right? Like if I add actually a unit here. Like, let's go with the common one, Bretonnian, Questing Knights. That's a good one. Questing Knights per model have 112 health, right? So, at 120 weapon strength, it's not likely that the Stone Trolls will get... in fact, because of the armor of Questing Knights, how much armor do they have? 80? 80 armor, right? So, if I actually quickly do some mental math, which is not my strong suit, but I'll stick with it. Yeah, I mean, you could potentially be taking, like, up to 100 armor piercing damage, so although the Stone Trolls don't quite one-shot, at least in sustained combat, they don't quite one-shot the Questing Knights, it's pretty close. And more than that, with the charge bonus, certainly, of 34, it doesn't seem like that much, but with the extra charge bonus of 34, that suddenly means that, you know, you add an extra 34 onto that weapon strength, and they're much more likely to actually one-shot the cav models, right? And this is the kind of the cav issue in this game right now, is that most cavalry have around like 100 to 120, somewhere in that range, health. Even something like Chaos Knights, right? If we add them as well to this comparison here. And I know you guys can't see this. I might show you in between the next few games, but just as kind of a discussion about cavalry, because I'm known as a cavalry guy. And, you know, on this channel, I tend to feature a lot of cav play, and this is my favorite factions are all heavy cav factions, right? So this is a problem I'm well familiar with. But yeah, even cavalry, like Chaos Knights, have the most HP per model of any elite cav, or I think of any heavy cavalry, actually, besides Monstrous, of any traditional, you know, 45 model count, riding a horse thing. They have 130 health per model, right? So even there, like, they're less likely to get one shot, but something like a Minotaur, you know, a Stone Troll, on the charge especially, they will still be able to one-shot models if they get good contact. So it's, and against all single entity monsters, like even you know, weak single-entity monsters, quote-unquote, like the Mortis Engine, probably still have enough armor-piercing damage to one-shot a cav model on an attack animation, right? So it's just kind of a weird situation, and I don't necessarily think they should, like, massively increase the health of all cav across the board, because that could potentially make them pretty oppressive. But I don't know. Maybe they need to increase the health of both infantry and cavalry per model to make them fight a little bit better against single entity monsters. It's an interesting discussion, though. Yeah, are Stone Trolls OP? Possibly. Do Grail Guardians have more HP? Yeah, that stat website is awesome, Valkanos. Anyway, let's talk about the actual build here. Enough discussion. These guys are already getting into action here, so let's go ahead and have a look. Doom Wheel, like that already. We've got some Warp Fire Throwers. Bit of a meme pick, if I'm being honest, but they're okay here. Deathmaster Snitch. We've got Assassin, Plague Priest on the Drainer there. I like already this build, though, for the Greenskins. Wolf Rider Archers, Wolf Chariots. Excellent against the Skaven. We've got Orc Boys. I've been seeing a lot more Orc Boys recently. Nice to see. They're up front. We've got also the 8-Peak Loons, of course. One unit of Stone Trolls. But, oh man, the red-hot Mountain Dew already being sprayed at the Wolf Rider Archers. The Stone Trolls, I'm curious to see. These Warp Fire Throwers probably are going to try and shoot the Stone Trolls, I would imagine, but they're not actually a counter for the Stone Trolls, again, because of the missile resistance and some other things. But, oh man, Deathmaster Sigil and Assassin's Trophy going down, pinning the giant River Troll Hag in place, and Grimgor also is stuck here. He uses his Bloodforged Armor, Explosion, Rilehide Talisman. Also, you can see the Biggins now running in. They're going to be saturated. Look at how big these Biggins are compared to the Rat Ogres. Like, they are very close in terms of size. That's kind of crazy. Rat Ogres look hilariously small in that shot for some reason. Anyway, The Rat Ogres will probably take quite a bit of damage, obviously, from the Savage Biggins here, but the Rival Hide Talisman does help them tank out some of that damage pretty nicely. Likewise, the River Troll Hag did get routed there, some massive damage, and here we go. Okay, so it's not actually doing all that much damage, but look at the leadership here, using the Contamination effect from the Plague Priest, as well as the Burnt effect from the Warp Fire Throwers here, is able to rout off these Stone Trolls at basically full health. That is absolutely crazy. Beautiful synergy there. I really like that. These Stone Trolls, I mean, they're menace. They're absolute menace of units, right? Like, they are very, very powerful, and using that low leadership to your advantage to get a very decisive rout. The Skaven actually have a really nice spike on the balance of power right now. Now, will that be able to hold? I believe, are these Plague Monks actually summoned? Yes, these Plague Monks are actually summoned, so these Trolls are going to come back. Although the Plague Monks are doing a surprising amount of damage while chasing them here. These Trolls also came back, and now you can see the Warp Fire Throw is getting inundated there. So that combination was very strong, but Grimgor actually gets completely wrecked here by Snitch as well. Completely missed that. But he's also getting run over slowly and surely by this wheel, and as it runs him over, it'll drain him, and he's gone. That was kind of a sad end for Grimgor, if I'm being honest, but the Trolls will make their second timing push here. You can see the River Troll Hag trying to come back. She's got to be really careful, though. Deathmaster's Sigil, again, being popped on her, using the Assassin's Trophy, of course, in tandem. These two, you basically never see the Deathmaster without an Assassin buddy, but the Wolf Riders actually coming in. They're able to block Deathmaster, Snitch, Wolf Rider Archers, one of the best units in the game, probably, for their cost, and all of a sudden, the Assassin gets a one-on-one engagement with the River Troll Hag. Again, with the Assassin's Trophy, she doesn't want to take that, but the Orc Boys can then move in. Decent weapon strength on these guys means that on a surround of this Assassin, they will actually be able to do some good damage, but here comes the Doom Wheel, ready to bail them out. A lot of people have been using this Regiment of Renown Doom Wheel again, and I'm a huge, huge fan. Yep, looks like Tesla's going to go ahead and withdraw that one, but a really nice play there, routing off the Trolls. I might actually save that one for later, because that was, I mean, you don't have to beat the Trolls in melee, right? You don't even have to kill many of them. They are just Trolls, after all, and you can abuse their leadership. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. For anyone who's been having issues with Stone Trolls lately, that's how you beat them. You don't necessarily have to use terror. Their leadership is so low that with a few overlapping effects, spells, whatever, you can get rid of them, right? So that was good stuff. Oh man, I might cast that one separately on the channel. I don't know for sure. It was pretty short, but good stuff, FPod. Great game. Great game. Go ahead and get the next competitor. You know what, actually, I might be able to get some more people in. We've been moving through pretty quick so far. But let's get Hollow Slayer, I believe, is the next one. Let me get this here, and we will move it right along. Okay, wow, that was awesome. Yeah, right, Grimgor didn't really do an animation there. He kind of just, like, teleported into the ground, but... How about removing 5 models and adding the health? Yeah, you'd have to maybe increase their weapon damage a little bit, too, to compensate. Maybe, though. I don't know. Yeah, Cav definitely needs a good micro. The problem is that even charging certain things, you'll just bleed models away, because they just take enough damage that even if you're good on your cycle charging, they'll still just bleed models against certain targets. Yeah. Underrated Warp Fire Throwers incoming? Probably, Lux, probably. For real. That was pretty impressive. What's my opinion on Razordons? They're really good, if used correctly. They are kind of slow. They're vulnerable to, like, fast attack units, but let's see here. Getting this here. Yep, we got that. Okay. Okay, that's all good there. Yeah, I might be able to get you guys in. We'll see. Yeah, I actually really like Razor Dawns against Tomb Kings as a faction because they're not fast enough to catch them. They can work extremely well against them. They can work well against Chaos as well, because they actually out-trade Marauder Horsemen pretty hard in a range fight, and like you can probably keep them safe from mobility. I mean, Shaggoths are a thing, definitely, but you have the units to try and protect them from the Shaggoth and just use them to blast the Shaggoth. You can get some really good value from them. He used to be broken, like their animations just didn't work at all, but now they're really good. Okay. Yeah, Skaven no pans. There we go. Skaven no bans. Something else to bans. Orcs. Yeah, greenskins. They're pretty good. You do have to be careful of getting rushed by like greenskins, like Spider Riders. They will probably beat Spider Riders in melee, but you're going to have a hard time getting away from Spider Riders because they have poison and they're faster than you. And that's, if the Spider Riders are catching you and bogging you down, then you're probably going to be slowed to the point where even like Boar Boys can catch up with you. Or a different armor-piercing, fast-moving unit. Spider or whatever, big spider. So it can be a little bit tougher to make work against the greenskins. The Poison Hounds are easier to beat than Spider Riders, in my opinion. But that's another matchup where they can potentially be pretty good. Also, Greenskin's Foot Archer line is pretty common in that matchup, and I want to say Orc Airboys outrange Razor Dawns. You guys might have to check me on that. They're probably pretty close. But I do think that Orc Airboys outrange Razor Dawns. Yeah, Warp Fire Throwers are a unit that is typically not very good, but using the leadership effect of it is, I think, one of the more valid uses of it, and we saw it in effect there. That was very impressive. Combined with the sniping of Grimgore, yeah, super solid. Yeah, Razor Dawns are 100, I think. Yeah, I want to say, I think they're pretty close, but regardless, the Daka line's scary in that matchup, and they can counter-skirmish you pretty decently. A little more than Salamanders? Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting matchup. Actually, Greenskins versus Lizardmen is a very, like, most people just think it's Skarsnik Fungi like all other matchups, but Skarsnik was even good before, basically because he's like a second spider, right? Or a third spider even, depending on your build. Now he's even better because of the AoE anti-large, the poison, or I mean the fungi, right? Oh man, this track is such a banger. Getting distracted. Oh yeah, dude, this track, man, Medieval 2, I've been playing a little bit of the stainless steel mod recently. That's such a good game, man. I can't tell you how hard I would buy Medieval 3. Creative Assembly chose to make that. We'll see. I mean, I have no idea what's coming after Three Kingdoms, because they are working on another historical title. Like, that much we know, right? I have a hunch that it could be Medieval 3, based on some Twitter posts and some random kind of, I wouldn't say clues, and it's just basically tinfoil hat speculation, purely, but I do think that there is some evidence to suggest that they might actually be working on Medieval 3, as much of a meme as that has become. We'll see, though. Regardless, whatever historical Total War they do next, I'm guessing they'll probably return to Europe, and it will be amazing. Considering all they've learned from Three Kingdoms, from, you know, from even Troy. Troy has some nice changes that I think some people haven't picked up on yet, but mostly the UI changes I'm a huge fan of in that game. We'll be having a video about that. Hopefully within the next week or so. I have the voice recorded. I just need to cut it and get it all edited together. Norsca is into Lizardmen, actually, I think is a really interesting matchup, because Norsca is like the Monster Hunter faction, and Lizardmen are undisputed the best monster faction in the game. So, no undead in Medieval 3, please. Just give me my history without... no. Hey, SG71, good to see you, man. Yeah, I don't know what a Skaven even is. What is a Skaven? Indeed. Oh, did I forget to switch the map? No. We're good. We're good. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and have a look at the builds here. I think I did forget to switch, but it's whatever. So we've got a Fire Slan. Nice. I like Fire Slans against Norsca. It's an interesting pick. Probably not as competitive as a Life Slan, but hey, we're here. We've got Saurus Warriors with shields up front, some Temple Guard, a single Carnosaur Scarvet, some Javelin cohorts, and some Pterodon Riders. Interesting. Those Fire Leech Bolas? Please tell me they're Fire Leech Bolas. Nope, just regular Pterodon Riders. So, does he actually have Flaming Sword of Ruin then? He doesn't. I'm curious. Was there Salamanders? No? There's no direct fire synergy here. I guess he didn't even bring Kindle Flame, so that's something. I don't know if I've ever seen a Lore of Fire build without Kindle Flame. Over on the Norskins side, we've got Mammoth. Looks like Maws of Savagery here with some Ice Wolves, Berserkers, front line of regular Marauders. Interesting, no champs here. I like champs in this matchup quite a bit, but Miststalkers, Mirror Warriors, got a couple of Javs. Wolfric, Mammoth. And, where's the caster? Oh yeah, Lore of Shadows from Mirror, right? Feebling Foe and Penumbral Pendulum. Wolves over here, Beasts of Tashnar. Anti-Large is pretty nice here, although I don't think the Hounds are strictly as necessary for them to have the Anti-Large, rather. Because if you're just chasing down skinks, the regular Hounds will do just fine. Let's see. Salamander Slan of Fire combo, it's pretty good. Norsca can, because of the Ice Wolf Beast of Tashnar combo, that actually specifically is pretty dangerous to Salamanders. The Ice Wolves don't take... They're one of the few ice units that doesn't take bonus fire damage, right? So you actually can use them against something like Salamanders just fine. I mean, granted, they're just squishy overall. Only 19 defense, 15 armor. They do have quite a bit of HP per model, though, if you stop and look. Only 36 models and almost 5,000 HP, so they're thick boys. I like Lore of Fire Slan. I think it's actually, you can get some really strong fire synergy shooting builds against specific factions. Like if you're, and especially if the player you know is not going to take certain builds. Lore of Fire, I actually think against like Wood Elves can be pretty good. I like it here against Norsca as well occasionally. I like it against Tomb Kings also. Let's see, right now, Lizardmen just kind of going forward into an engagement here. These Marauders are actually going to have a pretty bad time, but, oh, this is interesting play on both sides. Nice burning head to roast out those Berserkers, and the Marauders does clip some of the Temple Guard, but they themselves are getting surrounded and just absolutely decimated here by these various units. Wulfric the Wanderer, I mean, Mammoths can kill Temple Guard with support. I mean, you might think a Halberd would counter monsters, but like I said, Halberds don't counter single entity monsters. They actually counter monsters infantry, but really nice swarm with the Pterodon there. Come down and just absolutely wreck those Javelin Hunters. Help keep the Slaawn safe. You can see now that the Javelin Hunters have been wrecked, only then does the Saurus Scarvet come in. Since the anti-large threats have been mostly eliminated, you can see the Miststalkers as well disengaging here, pulling back. And oh man, the Slaawn, a lot of friendly fire there from that banishment, but it still did get a pretty good chunk out of those Berserkers, and the Statue of Spite as well doing some damage. Temple Guards did manage to survive that fight, and with enough support, they're doing okay. But, oh, nice pick here with the Beasts of Tashnar. They'll be able to do some pretty solid damage to the Slaawn. Wulfric's in a little bit of trouble here. His Hunter of Champions is currently off cooldown, but plenty of Norskin support incoming. And this is what I was talking about. This is an ideal engagement for the Temple Guards here to go up against the Miststalkers. They like fighting monstrous infantry. Another burning head roast through, too. Looks like it got a good chunk out of those Marauders. This is one of the reasons I like Champs, is because Champs, Sword and Shield Champs actually straight up beat Temple Guard, like, just because of the stat differential, and because they have good enough AP, and because Temple Guard only have, you know, 85 armor, which seems like a lot, and it's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not great. As it stands right now, Norsca has a little bit of an advantage on the balance of power, but the Lizardmen, I almost said Greenskins, Lizardmen do have a pretty good push going over on this side. The Slaawn getting swarmed here, though, is a big problem. This Scarvet needs to detach. Yeah, come over here, get some good attacks on Wulfric. Likewise, the oh man, the Slaawn gets routed here, though. A very bad situation, gets terrified. He should be able to come back from rout, as long as he doesn't get caught up by those Miststalkers. Which it does look like the Miststalkers are coming. The Ice Wolves are also coming from this direction, so all of a sudden the Lizardmen kind of get a little bit surrounded here, starting to run out of steam, and the Norskins have got it in the bag. So despite the nice burning heads there, just wasn't quite enough. I do think just kind of running headfirst into that engagement wasn't the best idea. I definitely think that it would have been in the interest of FPOD here to try and kite out a little bit, take advantage of some of his skirmish tools like those Pterodons, use some fireballs to drop models away from the Regiment of Renowned Skinwolves there, the Maws of Savagery. Like, one fireball I think will take out a model, so if you could just chip away a few of their models, you know, before the engagement starts, it's going to be great for you, because then they can't regenerate that damage back, right? But it was an interesting one. Good build. Yeah, no Kindle Flame is a strange one. To do a video on Pterodon Riders. Pterodon Riders are very strong, absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead and switch the map. Let me get the next competitor lined up. What do we got up next? Pattywampus? Let me see if he's ready. And just in case he is not ready, I'll get Golden Eagle up next. Okay, no, it looks like he is ready. Man, we haven't had a sitting king for too long today. a lot of nice back and forth build synergies here. I do think so. I really hope they're going to be putting in some more love for multiplayer in Game 3. And considering how much the community has grown, and like, they already did free-for-all, which is, it might not seem like much, but considering multiplayer got exactly 0 support from, like, Rome 2 on, you know, ever since, like, Shogun's Avatar Conquest, like, they really haven't done anything for multiplayer. Maybe you could say Arena, but that was kind of a standalone thing, right? Like, because they at least did free-for-all for Game 2, which is more than what they've done for their previous few mainline titles, right? So that gives me hope, especially given that the community has grown so much now, and, like, Creative Assembly has been hosting the Ever-Chosen Invitationals, which, again, that's never something they would have done in the past. Yeah. It's interesting. I do think that we'll see some more multiplayer support for Game 3. What form that will take exactly, I have no idea, but... An actual rank system would be great. Yeah, I've talked about this in the past before, but they need a separate, like, you need a separate competitive and quick battle. Temple Guard do actually have pretty low melee attack, that's true. Yeah, in fact, not most, all Saurus infantry has pretty low melee attack for the cost. They have high weapon strength, though. Like, if you look at Saurus warriors, they have like 50-something weapon strength, which is pretty ridiculous for a unit that only costs 800 points. Their stats are actually not that good, especially in comparison to something like Chaos Warriors or Longbeards. Yeah. I think number one is the spectacle. And this is probably the most important thing, is that Warhammer's a lot flashier, right? You've got the spells, you've got these big monsters, and not only does that add spectacle, it also adds like another layer of strategic depth. It's the fact that I think it's visually a lot more interesting, at least for me personally. Like, the older Total War games, they're fun to play and they look amazing, epic scale. You know, it's awesome, but to compare that to like these giant monsters, and for me as a fantasy nerd, always, you know, playing Skyrim and other stuff back in the day, it was interesting to think about, like, okay, if we actually were to fight big monsters, like us as regular old humans with the tech that we had during that time, like, what would that look like? Like, what would that be? And this game gives us a way to sort of explore that in, I'm not going to say a simulation, but sort of a simulated 3D environment where you have different variables and you can account for various things. And, like, I'm not saying that the old ones are historically realistic or some, like, great battle simulator, but in a way they are. Like, they do allow us to at least visualize what this potentially might have looked like. Yeah, Warhammer's also pretty easy to follow. It's a very community-driven game. Like, and I won't take too much credit for this. I mean, I've contributed a bit, but most of the credit goes to like guys like Turin, Italian Spartacus, you know, Shetland Apache, Aerocrastic. These guys who have contributed in major ways, whether that be, you know, hosting a bunch of tournaments, or like Shetland, you know, Shetland and Pippington developing the cup rules, which then later leads to Aerocrastic's banner rules, right? And it's been this sort of community evolution towards, towards more stuff, like just more people involved, the various Discord servers. You know, it just seems like, and people step away from the game and then come back. That happens all the time. So it's not like everyone who's been in from the start is still around, but the community has just grown so much now. And you look at even like Jay Phoenix, you're here in the chat, like, you hosted your first, was that your first tournament? What was that, a week or two ago? And you got like 60 people to sign up, right? Like, that's so cool. And the community is still pretty small, all things considered, but it's grown to the point where, you know, enough people are interested, and especially if Creative Assembly makes some specific, you know, support, that will bring a lot of the people who have left, or who maybe only play intermittently, that will bring a lot of them back, I think, to play more multiplayer. So definitely think, and they understand that as well, it's in their best interest. And again, them working directly with Turin and Italian and the others on the Ever-Chosen Invitational, myself having played several times in it, I mean, I got Arcan bombed though. Yeah, hey man, That's a rite of passage, honestly, Jay Phoenix. To get an Arcan Smurf in your tournament, like, that is a rite of passage. That means you are a real tournament host. So congratulations. Yeah, and Arcan got wrecked by Falcon, so it was actually like a great storyline. You know, like full on WWE work, right? I think he did. I think Arcan just snuck in under a alias. Yep. Oh. All right, these guys are getting their army selections put together. St. Augustine, probably going to bring that back sometime this week. I don't know. I've got swamped with IRL work stuff, unfortunately. Like, I have been kind of holding back on some things. And unfortunately, I didn't get as much streaming done as I would have liked before. But now, like, we'll see. Probably I'm going to try and do at least once or twice this next week a giant wide Agamemnon. Because, honestly, his width is reaching a critical mass where I think he might actually enter a fusion state. Oh, yeah. 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 I didn't get to see it live. I've just, you know, heard Falcon's side of the story, him telling me about it, but I didn't. Yeah, I guess Crabling was casting it, and he was kind of telling me based on that cast. It was interesting. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but it was more entertaining, at least for someone like me. Probably not too entertaining for Falcon, but oh man. Cool. Yeah. Yes, that is correct. Alright, let's get to the game on screen, though. We're gonna have some elves killing elves, which is always a recipe for success. Let's take a look here. We've got Glade Riders with Hagbane tips, 2 of them, a couple of Way Watchers, some Wild Riders, Branch Wraith, a Glady, right? Yes, actual Glady. Branch Wraiths, it's not Branch Wraiths, Dryads up front, and yeah, that's basically it. What do we got? Pendulum, Healing, Shield of Thorns, good stuff. For the Dark Elves, I don't know, honestly. A couple of Scourge Runner Chariots. Who's that? Is that Malekith on horseback? Slaanesha's Harvesters. Old One Knights, we've got some Corsairs, Sad Swords, Fear Spears, and plenty of Dark Riders with shields, along with one more Doomfire Warlock. Hey, what's up, Falcon? Yeah, it's said if you actually, like, say his name 3 times forwards and then 3 times backwards and turn around twice in your chair, that he will appear. Yeah, I think one thing they could do to keep people interested would be to build some kind of progression system, and a lot of people have talked about Avatar Conquest in the past from Shogun 2. I've been meaning to make a video about it. I need to go back and kind of play around with it a bit and see what was there, but the Avatar Conquest, I think, is a game that, like this, would be perfect for that, and likewise, it would give you a way to have some kind of multiplayer progression system to keep people engaged and interested. and, you know, also kind of let you develop, like, especially if they had a system where you could develop your own regiments of renown, that would be super cool. Alright, now, let's see. Right off the bat, you can see Way Watchers are getting some good shots in. They're going to be moving up. Hollow Slayer is screening out pretty well with his Bleak Swords and Dread Spears. Scourge Runner Chariots are at a pretty big risk here because they are outranged pretty heavily by Way Watchers, but this is one engagement that Dryads might actually do okay in, but you can see already the ambush being popped here. Nice. Chill Wind does actually apply the Frostbite there, puts them down to 71 speed, but because of the Hagbane tips there, the Dark Riders also pretty low on speed. They go down to 69. They're also not able to catch, so a nice kind of play and counterplay there, but ooh, these Wild Riders are going to come in and clip these Dark Riders. Nice Praevan of Threma there, and it looks like the Way Watchers, unfortunately, I'm not sure. Sometimes they do this if they're kind of left on fire at will. They won't actually fire at the target that you want them to. Like right now, they should definitely be shooting Malekith, but targeting coming in there a little bit late. We've also got a Soul Stealer there. Since this is the only unit of Wild Riders, I mean, granted, I don't know that he knows that, but still. Ooh, nice Penumbral Pendulum, too, in the front line. Going to do a ton of damage to the Sad Swords. Basically help break 2 units of them. Help the Dryads win that front line a little bit more decisively, but the Scourge Runner Chariots are also coming in. How are the Way Watchers doing at being protected? Decently, although the Glade Riders having to sacrifice themselves here is not great. Because the Dark Riders didn't have a charge directly on the Dark Riders, it's not going to go actually terribly for them, but a nice Soulfire Bombardment there. Again, another great Soul Stealer. Unfortunately, Doomfire Warlocks are honestly kind of terrible. Probably going to be an overrated unit. Replay about them soon, but the Soul Stealer does kind of help them perform a little bit here. The poison and the magic damage also will be pretty good against Wild Riders. Wild Riders having been routed there. The Chariots also running rampant over the back line, but slightly ahead on the balance of power for the Wood Elves because they've been able to rout quite a few high-value units here. Cold One Knights also pushing through, trying to get onto those Way Watchers, but here comes some Eternal Guards with shields with their nice armor-piercing damage coming for support. Likewise, the Glady, honestly, with her Eagle, could probably directly charge into these Cold One Knights and help use her mass to kind of block up their unit models. All of this high mass stuff, though, is just concentrating on going after the Way Watchers, which is, you know, understandable for a Wood Elf army. This is going to be one of their primary means of stopping power. And one unit already having been dealt with. The other one, though, is completely healthy at this point. Probably, yep, just switch that on to fire at will. Let them shoot at whatever targets. I guess if the Glady had rushed down there, she might have gotten swarmed, so it's probably a good thing she stayed up in the air. But if these Wild Riders can come back, maybe get some healing. A nice play with the Glade Riders there as well. The Dark Riders. Oh, there's actually 2 units of Wild Riders here. Interesting. I only saw the one to start. So both of them being back is pretty helpful. They can come in here, help support like the Branch Wraith and other units. Ooh, potentially dangerous situation for Malekith as he gets dived from behind as he's fighting the Branch Wraith there. Of course, he's a good enough combat that he can turn around and punch the Glady pretty hard, but a single entity combat is, you don't really want to ever take 2-on-1 single entity combat. It looks like the Branch Wraith doesn't actually have an attack order on Malekith, which is a bit of a mistake. She could be getting some okay attacks in the back right there. I mean, she doesn't do all that much damage, but it would be a little bit of extra something. Looks like Word of Pain going on probably the Glady. Yep, debuffing her melee attack and accuracy, actually, interestingly enough. Kind of impactful here. Another nice little rear charge to try and break up the Slaanesh Harvester. Stand your ground, buffing their melee defense. Helps them hold a little bit longer, and it looks like we're going to have another Doombolt here. Nice. Good damage. Soul Blight also debuffing some of the armor and weapon damage there, but as it stands, the Dark Elf force is kind of getting a little bit scattered to the winds, overcommitting, getting to those Way Watchers. Now, as these other units come back, these Scourge Runner Chariots, Slaanesh Harvesters also getting finished off here. These Doomfire Warlocks also getting finished off, so it looks like Pattywampus is probably going to be able to take this. And again, I don't think we had a single king sit for more than a single win. This has been a pretty interesting King of the Hill, just absolute scrapping. Another devastating Soul Stealer, though. That's going to hit a ton of these Wood Elf units, probably finish off quite a few of these Wild Riders. The Dryads also. Thankfully, the Glady was not in that effect. Otherwise, that could have been potentially devastating. But I guess with Malekith still on the field, it's anyone's fight, although against enough sort of just leftover Eternal Guards. Nice! Good Arrows of Kronos there. Makes full contact with one of the Chariot models and destroys it. Still, though, it does make contact on the rear charge. The bow attack here from the Glady, she's got quite a bit of ammo left as well, so she can kind of sit up in the sky here and just plink Malekith as he fights this blob of stuff. Likewise, this blob of stuff can detach its mobile units to go clean up whatever routing sad swords, fear spears, and so on. Yeah, looking pretty good for the Wood Elves at this point. Malekith is starting to take some damage. You can see the Branch Wraith comes in here to fight with her tree buds. And the Eternal Guards also, of course, actually providing the armor-piercing damage. But Glade Riders will charge in. These Cold One Knights are just getting out-modeled here. They just don't have enough unit models to really take in this late game. You can see there's like 5 Glade Riders per Cold One Knight there. Pretty brutal stuff. Malekith making his final stand here. It's going to be him against the world, though, at the end of the day. And how long can he actually hold? He's taking quite a bit of damage from the Eternal Guards, the Wild Riders, whatever else getting a charge. Glady plinking him from the sky. I think there's even some Waywatchers back. Yep, Waywatchers closing the distance, so it's only a matter of time there for Malekith. Tries to throw off a Blade Wind, try and rout some of these units, but I think that's going to be it. It's a tough matchup for Dark Elves. Picking Dark Elves into Wood Elves, I'm not really sure. I guess, actually, he picked Dark Elves and Patty counterpicked with Wood Elves, which is honestly a pretty good counterpick there. But fun stuff. Builds on both sides. It's interesting to see the Waywatchers be a factor, but not at the same time. Like, Distraction Waywatchers, they did some damage. They didn't actually do that much damage, but just drawing away a good portion of that mobility from the main line fight, then that allowed the Branch Wraith to use its support magic. These Dryads beat the front line pretty decisively. And then excellent play with the Glade Riders and the Wild Riders as well. Man, 83 kills on Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. In my Spider Rider video, I kind of left these guys out of the conversation for the best skirmish cav in the game. And I do think that is true still. Like, I definitely think they're still not in contention for the best skirmish cav in the game. But they're really good. Really, really good when used well, and this was a great use of them. For Hollow Slayer side, I actually really don't like Doomfire Warlocks right now, as I might have mentioned. I think it's nice on paper, but it doesn't work very well in practice against a faction like the Wood Elves. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the next competitor lined up. Put the music back on here. Fear spears or sad swords? Okay. Let's take a look here. Ah, we're almost actually through the list. That's pretty impressive. Might throw you in here, Jay Phoenix, and Ceramation as well. Okay. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Scary spears. Yeah, Doomfires did get too many nerfs. They're kind of useless right now. Hey, Tony coming in with the tenor. Always a pleasure catching one of your streams. Long-time subscriber. Hope you keep up the high-quality content. Thanks. Thanks. Absolutely. For you, Tony. We'll keep it rolling. Much appreciated. Yeah, 1200 is too much. I think 1150 is probably fine. Hey, there it is. There's the notification. Nerf the buggers. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately I think Doomfire Warlocks are a little too expensive for what they give you right now. They're okay. Celestious Harvesters, I think honestly probably could stay the same price. But like, minus 50 also wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for all of them, to be honest. But anyway, gotta get some stretches in here. Yeah, they're not heavy cavalry. Use them like elite light cav. I think one of the issues is that they rely a lot on you using their abilities for them to get value. Like, they can actually beat certain heavy cavalry units if you use Soul Blight at the right time. But they're so squishy, you have to be very careful about taking too much damage on them. It's an interesting comparison, though. Like, their damage output is just way lower than something like Wild Riders, right? Oh, yes. Let me actually get the map changed. Totally forgot to do that. Let's go with another decent map here. We'll go for... Let's go Oakenhammer. Alright, Pattywampus is going to stay Wood Elves, no bans, and Golden Eagle goes with Averlorn. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, they're so micro-intensive. I just don't know that it's worth it. Especially if you have, like, more than two. Yeah, they will defeat 1v1 versus Wild Riders if you use the abilities. That's correct. But, again, that requires you having the micro to actually use the abilities, which in a giant mobile engagement with two pretty fast factions, it's not always going to be super doable. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're good units. I just think they're overpriced, and they're kind of a trap unit for a lot of newer players. High elves, best elves? Dead elves equals best elves. I think that's correct, actually. Yeah. I don't know, Summation, for me that very much factors into how good a unit is. Like, because especially if it, like a potato micro like me can't use them very well, like, technically they might be good, yes, but if you can't use them correctly, then how good are they, right? If it takes too much to use them. Are Grail Knights human? I don't know, that's a good question. They're from Indiana Jones. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's probably right. Hey, look, this is how I look at it. Do they have pointy ears? No? Okay, it's probably human. Once they have pointy ears, then they're elves, right? But if they don't have pointy ears, they're probably human. Even greenskins, actually, funny enough, have pointy ears. Dwarfs don't have pointy ears? Ah, you got me there. Yeah, they're pretty clearly stunted. I mean, even the peasants are taller than them, so... Oh, they're all Bruce Wayne in disguise. Yeah, basically Batman's. Slan must be human too. Do the Slans not have pointy ears? Do the Slans even have ears? I don't think the Slans even have ears. I don't think the Slans even have ears. That's a good question. We need to check this. This is very important. Falcon, can you confirm Slans have ears or no? Oh yeah, those are the Athaloran elves. They actually help Santa Claus. Speaking of which, this is not Santa Claus, but it is Orion. Oh yeah, look at this guy. Just all ready for all kinds of freedom. Orion here with a Wild Rider, not necessarily fully Wild Rider-centric build, but a couple Wild Riders, Hagbane tips. We've got, what are these, Glade Guards with Starfires. Interesting. Hopefully no Dragon Princes. We do have a couple of Dragon Princes. Well, would you look at that. Starfire Shaft's going to be literally useless against them, so, yeah, Orion will have to take them out. Eternal Guards with shields as well. And we've got the Firebark Elders also. Oh, man, he did bring a Tree Man, though. Oh, man. The nice Autumn Tree Men here with the Lime Princes. Interesting build. I actually think that Tree Men with Dragon Princes might not be completely terrible. We've also got some Red Dryads here. Some Spearmen, Lothern Sea Guard, Archers. And it looks like Alariel the Radiant, of course, for Avalorn. Yeah, some Avalorn tree units. And somehow Orion didn't bring any tree units. Looks like the Branch boys switched sides for this one. Treeman with Alariel is an interesting proposition, because he can tank a lot of damage, but he's just not all that useful. Kind of slow. Such glory. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, all the glory. The Dragon Princes are a nice touch, actually. I really like the touch of the Dragon Princes here. How much can they actually do, though? Wood Elves versus Walmart Wood Elves? Yes. Yeah, the Firebark Elders, they're the only trees on this side, I guess. And they are angry. Angry. You betrayed us to those silly elves. The other silly elves, I should say. Oh yeah, here we go. Orion sizing up his targets, figuring out where he wants to go. Orion, actually, his best targets are going to be the Dragon Princes, absolutely. His javelin, I guess is what you would call it, his spear, will actually one-shot Dragon Prince models. So as he moves up, he's going to want to start throwing at them. Probably, though, he might start throwing at the Treemen. We'll see. But definitely Orion, yeah, he wants to go directly after the Dragon Princes because, as mentioned, Starfire Shafts deal fire damage, right? So even though they're armor-piercing, flaming damage. And Dragon Princes have heavy, not only physical resistance, which does apply, fire resistance, so they're actually at the maximum 90% resistance, I think is where it caps out at, versus the Starfire Shafts. They're going to do literally 0 damage, but Orion being a nice distraction here. Kind of dodging some shots, cutting and weaving, trying to get some units blobbed up around him. And now the Starfire Shafts can start firing at these Dryads. That will be a good target. Oh, one of them is actually Hagbane? Yeah, the Hagbane tips could shoot the Dragon Princes. That would actually be a pretty good play, because the Hagbane tips, although they don't have armor piercing, do have magic damage. Here comes the Dragon Princes, though. They're going to try and push up and through and, you know, get these archers. Nice charge planned. Some of it gets blocked. Nicely done, actually. The attack order does get interrupted there. Orion's taking quite a bit of damage from the Treemen. A lot of friendly fire as well from those Starfire Shafts and so on, but they're able to hold for the time being. Don't know where the other Dragon Princes got off to. It looks like they're just kind of chilling on the side here. Archers providing some nice counterfire to those Hagbane tips. Should be able to take them out relatively soon. And, oh, what is this? Nice Penumbral Pendulum. Going to go down the line here, do some good damage to the High Elf Infantry. And that Ancient Treeman's just about down. I'm not sure where Alariel's healing is at. She's saving it for the Dragon Princes, but this Treeman could definitely use some support at this point. but haven't been able to use the Dragon Prince charges super effectively yet. This one did get countercharged by the spears, now pulling back, getting countercharged by the Wild Riders as well. This is pretty good though, nice open field charge. Those Firebark Elders were not braced, so they will take a lot of damage from that charge there. Orion likewise is also taking a lot of damage from the Treeman, but the loss of the Treeman there without any healing is going to be pretty rough. That's a good amount of value, definitely. The Dragon Princes, though, yeah, they need to push up and through. They can get back here and shut down this Archer line in a big hurry, and they absolutely need to. Likewise, the other Dragon Princes here eventually are able to push back the Wild Riders, and these other Eternal Guards, they themselves disengaging, kind of using the Lothern Sea Guard to screen a bit there. We do have the Glade Riders coming back from route, and some nice contact with the Dragon Princes in the back line, managing to disrupt this Archer line. There are some Eternal Guards saturated in here, so they don't want to stick around for too long, but over here on this side, this Dryad gets broken up. The two Wild Riders getting some healing. Good play on both sides so far. It's nice back and forth. Balance power slightly in the Wood Elves' favor. The High Elves definitely still having a pretty good chance of getting this one done, especially with these the Dragon Princes, rather. I don't know about this, though. The Firebark Elders are kind of meant to just be a tank unit here, so I would think you'd probably just want to leave them alone and try and focus on taking out these Wild Riders, since they're kind of the only mobile threat that can countercharge the Dragon Princes. You can see them now rushing in here. There are some Eternal Guards to screen, but they might actually be charging directly into the Eternal Guards. I'm not sure there what the Dragon Prince's charge order is targeting, but regardless, kind of hitting and running there. Pattywampus also doing a good job pulling his Wild Riders back and away from that engagement, not taking too much damage there. But as the High Elves get some sustain here, it looks like they're going to use the Star of Avalorn to heal up some of these Dragon Prince models, finally getting that healing out active. Likewise, Orion, he's just tanking right now with the Shield of Isha. Not taking a lot of damage. He might be using up some of his healing cap space, though. And the Wild Rider is going to make a concerted push into this backline. Some of these archers are not actually archers, though. They're Lothern Sea Guard. And the Dragon Prince is going to be able to easily collapse on the side here. Really nice charge. This will be brutal for the Wood Elves. This is a way that the High Elves can definitely come back in this. A little bit more sustainability and forgiveness on the High Elf build. And you can see the Wild Riders immediately trying to pull out of that engagement, realizing they made a pretty big mistake. Nice Earthblood as well on the Dragon Princes. They are quickly approaching their healing cap, though. And even though the Starfire Shafts, again, basically don't do any damage, they at the very least do a bit of leadership damage. The High Elves are still collapsing this backline very aggressively. Just Glade Riders, Wild Riders all over the place. Dragon Princes can only be in so many places at once, right? So the fact that all these Eternal Guard are also saturated in this fight, they're going to be the ones actually getting some consistent damage. And the Starfire, or not the Starfires, the Hagbane tips as well, providing some nice poison here and not poisoning the Wood Elf units. You can see that the Dragon Prince is down to 59 speed because of that, and that's not even accounting for the speed debuffs to Vigor. Orion providing some terror routing away a few units there, and Wood Elves start to pull it back ahead on the balance of power. Yeah, Golden Eagle did a good job trying to stabilize there, but even despite the minimal damage from the Starfire Shafts, again, the bow fire of the Glade Guard's pretty significant here. Hagbane tips. Yep. Might be one of the best infantry skirmish units in the game right now. Very accurate, long range, good damage with poison and magic damage, actually. In some key situations can be good. Even these Hagbane tips, too. The Glade Riders with Hagbane tips also deal magic damage, so it's pretty interesting, actually. Hey, Wicked, what's up, man? Dryad on Dryad action is best. Send Orion in, hope for the best. That seems like a pretty good plan here, honestly. It seemed like it worked out okay for Pattywampus. He's able to finally finish off these Dragon Princes. And yeah, I think just losing the Treeman out to Orion at the start was too much of a loss. If he'd been able to keep that back, and even just like after it had taken a bunch of damage, just pull it back, try and get some kind of sustain and heal on it. Would have been tough to protect against all these Wood Elf archers, but I do think it would have been good for him. You know, it's a little bit of a meme build, obviously, but I think he had the tools still to potentially win this. Just needed to use the Dragon Princes a little bit more aggressively earlier on to help protect the Treemen from the archers. Lime Princes making their last stand here. Firebark Elders rear charging him. They are up to their healing cap at this point. No more healing can be done, and that will be game for them. Actually drag the balance of power back towards even a bit, and as there are some other units coming back from route as well, like this other Dragon Prince, nice 18 models, still has some health left. If they could get in and get a good rear charge, they actually could probably break a lot of these units. The problem is there's really nothing here that can kill Orion, like in the late game especially. Yeah, just no. Orion is going to be too much to deal with. And sending these Dryads in kind of piecemeal to support these engagements, yeah, they're going to get lit up by Starfire shafts, which is bad news for them. They're also getting poisoned here. But yeah, they're immediately going to rout, and allowing the Wood Elves to kind of reestablish this missile presence, a problem for sure. More Dragon Princes coming back, the ones that are at their healing cap. You can see also the Wild Riders kind of cutting to the distance, going to chase some routing units. Very important, but I just think Orion's probably going to carry this solely by himself at this point. Bob Tresh has gained timer woned it. Forest wound. Yep. At this point, the timer did won it because Orion. Ooh, look at that. Did you see that hit on the Dragon Prince there? That was an ace shot. Actually shatters the unit from Orion. He's going to throw one more just for good measure. Oh, 2 for 1 collateral damage. That's what I'm talking about. Orion is literally a steam tank with less armor, but he's almost as invincible because of that Cloak of Isha. What a cool unit. I'm glad to see Orion doing well. I think he's probably pretty underrated, to be honest. Like, with Glady, with Wood Elves, it's all about the Glady, right? Especially in competitive play. That Prey of Anathrema is just objectively super strong. But I like Orion. Unbreakable Lords are always really good, and especially those that are hard to kill, like Orion can be. Likewise, he's also kind of like Orion. He does have some AoE damage ability. He doesn't bring any here, but just even with this kit, with just Cloak of Isha, very strong combatant, obviously. Massive 70 charge bonus, huge weapon strength, melee attack, and unbreakable, of course. Let's see. I'd imagine Alariel's healing up these other Dragon Princes a little bit here. Some archers also getting into range to start firing. Wood Elves now are completely out of ammo. No, they do still have a tiny bit of ammo left on this one Starfire shaft here. We've also got some Spearmen coming back over there. The Wild Riders must have been dealt with for the most part. Some of them did manage to reunify with the line here, but Orion can pretty much use his missile attack to decide the engagement at this point. Like, yeah, these archers can sit back and maybe fire a little bit. Yeah, these Starfire shafts can probably shoot maybe Alariel or even like these other archers a little bit here, but Orion's missile attack, he still has how much ammo? 3 ammo left? Oh, wow, I thought it might be more than that. He's got three jabs left. Yeah, minus 50 for deck droppers. No. Yeah, it was a really fun game, though. Great game overall, for sure. Probably the closest game we've seen all day. Full 10 minutes. Ooh, Orion, another collateral damage charge there. Here comes the Dragon Princes. They actually get a pretty good charge in there. Alariel's going to come on the side, start to do some attacks. But you can see what I mean in terms of the HP per model on cavalry. Like, you see how these Dragon Princes just going to kind of get dragged down here? Dragging the Dragon Princes. Get it? Anyway. Ooh, Wild Riders coming back as well. Who are they going to charge? Are they going to charge the Dragon Princes directly? Yes, but their charge order pathing is kind of weird. They don't actually get a good charge and mostly just get wrecked by the Dragon Princes there. Oof, that was painful. Maybe they had a charge order on those archers, but Orion gets in there. He is going to make it happen. Absolutely giant right hand on Alariel. Only will take a couple of hits to deal with Alariel, and that will quickly lead to critical army losses, especially once the Dragon Princes rout. They are losing decisively, technically, but actually not taking all that much damage. 37 and 31, man, after all that sustained combat stats. Not bad at all. A little bit of rear fire from these archers here. They use up the last of their ammo doing that. And that's it. Very good game. Charge bonus on Nakai should be 100, considering his adorable animation where he swings his lollipop around. Wow. That was incredible. Incredible. Fun game. Great game. Nice back and forth there. Again, Golden Eagle, I think the biggest thing was the Treeman just getting killed too easily by Orion. If he had been able to get a little bit more value from that Treeman, probably could have won the game at the end of the day, considering how close it was. Or even just having the Treeman alive in the late game to try and not only get some terror routes on the Elven Infantry, on the Wood Elf Infantry, but yeah, the attack also to smack Orion. So let's go ahead and we've got one more here on the main list, and then probably get to reserves. I do like 1 or 2 reserve games. I do need to leave relatively soon, but let's see here. Nice. Nice. I will get this switched over. Let's do a Toothgrass Hill for the King of the Hill. GG. Yeah, Dryad Forest Spirits versus Wood Elves, that's a big flex for sure. Almost like XMT tryouts. Yeah, all we gotta see is the Omen of Asurian, hopefully, man. I would love that. Would definitely love that. Sorry, muted myself for most of that, but pro tip, don't inhale coffee. Okay, I think I'm dying not quite so much now. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, double Necrofex is strong. I don't think it's impressive except against maybe certain factions, but just not fun to play against is the main thing. Like, it's not ridiculously overpowered. It's just not fun. Yeah, Random Nix is also a very good player, for sure. Good times, good times. Ah, Wicked, you're no slouch. I mean, you learned Skaven first. How could you be bad? Oh, yeah, back in the day. Cool, cool. Getting that. Looks like Wood Elves versus High Elves again. That's fine with me. More elves killing elves. Hopefully we'll see some Tyrannok chariots this time. Would love that. Dov Undead confirmed. No! By Sigma, no! Not true, I tell you. I'm not crumbling. Besides, even if I was, I wouldn't be gone for another, hour at least. I have enough health that if I were to start crumbling, I think I could be okay. It could probably last at least 2 days until an Invocation of Nehek. What's the best unbreakable unit? Volkmar. Volkmar's the best unbreakable unit, followed by Team Tank, of course. What, is that even a question? Orion is in third place. I would give him that. And then probably Slayers number 4. Like the unit of Slayers, not any of the character Slayers. Now, if you're talking unbreakable undead units, then obviously Harkon. Followed by the Blood Dragon. Sigmar's Sons, that's another good one. Yeah, they're very cost effective. So are the 8-Peak Loons. 8-Peak Loons actually are probably in the top 5. I mean, they have fanatics. Yep. Doomwheel is the best unbreakable unit. There we go. Nope, there's no rule limiting unbreakable units except for when I ban undead entirely. Sigmar's daughters. 2 is not enough. Oh yeah, clearly you should try 3 Hell Cannons. I agree with that. Now, the true story of the Daughters of Sigmar is that they all left for Kislev. Go fight Chaos. Anyway, here we are. Toothgrass Hill. Might be the final game for today, depending on how long it goes. Did I fully actually... I don't think I actually fully turned that off. Beautiful, okay. Alright, so Durthu here. Branch Wraith, we've got some Eternal Guards, looks like a couple Wildwood Rangers, Wild Riders, Eternal Guard, or sorry, the Firebark Elders, yeah, Treekin there. Up front for the High Elves, we've got some Spearmen, Rangers, Archers, Lothern Seaguard, Pure Main Company, nice pick, Alariel the Radiant, a couple of Illyrian Reavers, and the Omen of Asurian. You asked for it. Someone asked for it. I don't remember who it was, but here we are. Mini Boris has brought it just for you. And yeah, that's... Wood Elf side, yeah, I mentioned already their build. Talked about it. Wild Riders front and center, though, in a potentially dangerous situation against a couple Shadow Warriors. What a wild pick. Against the Wood Elves especially. I guess they're kind of good here. Maybe they're not. I don't know. Woof woof fire barks. Oh yeah, Omen of Asaurian. Just for you. Oh man, the color scheme on this thing actually is pretty amazing. It does kind of look like a parrot, I'm not gonna lie, but a very special parrot. Amazing! Yes. Yes, yes. Durthu front and center for the Wood Elves, though. It's gonna be tough for the Omen of Asaurian to take on. I mean, I guess it does have fire damage. Firebark Elders are here to provide a bit of resistance in that way. It will circumvent the physical resistance, at the very least, with the fire and magic. So actually a pretty good combo there. No Kindle Flame, because he did go with Alariel, you know, trying to be actually good. But nice little pick and run here with the Shadow Warriors. Dual charge from the Illyrian Reavers, quickly able to not break one of those Eternal Guard because they're elves, but they did a bunch of damage there. Wildwood Rangers up front. Ooh, this is nasty. Taking the damage right on the face with them is definitely not good, but here comes a Manticore summon. Throw into the backline against those archers, or else throw into the Omen of Asaurian, or whatever else. Durthu coming through hard with his rush. The Illyrian Reavers and the Shadow Warriors still going to try and break up this flank if they can, but those Eternal Guards, definitely no pushovers by any means. Meanwhile, the Wild Riders and Blade Riders pushing aggressively on this flank, so some nice kind of flank play on both sides. Wildwood Rangers get a clean engagement on High Elf Rangers there. Some Ranger on Ranger crime here. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, I actually have never seen these two units fight 1 versus 1, so that's kind of nice. A beautiful rear charge there from the Wild Riders, going to end that even quicker than it would have been ended before. As it is right now, Durthu's actually losing pretty bad to the Omen of Asaurian, given all things considered. Although his supporting Rangers, the supporting Rangers of the Omen, rather, will be gone soon. Didn't realize the Pure Maiden Company are also saturated in this engagement. That means that, yeah, armor sundered down to 60 and 80 for the Treekin and Durthu, respectively. That's pretty good there, actually. Meaning when the archers fire in, they're going to get a lot more value. Especially these Shadow Warriors, they really, their shots will be so much more cost-effective with that armor sundering. So I actually really like that synergy here. Omen of Asaurian and everything is combining to take out Durthu. And healing on the side of the High Elves means they'll be able to sustain this fight perfectly. I love the use of the Pure Maiden Company here. Very underrated Regiment of Renown, and I already kind of talked about White Lions, so I don't know if I'll do a video specifically about the Pure Maiden Company, but that was a really good use of them there. Utilizing the armor sundering and the bows combined to take out heavy armor of Durthu, kind of the few heavy armor units that the Wood Elves can bring, right, or their trees, but oh man, here it comes! Yes! Nice blob. Some of the Wild Riders do manage to escape, rather. But a lot of them did take some pretty good damage there. And immediately the Phoenix dives down, gets a nice little tear out in some of those Wood Elf units. These Wild Riders are going to detach, try and come after some of these isolated units. Treekin do come back from route. The Branch Wraith, the Tree Branch. Yeah, the Tree Branch also going to be coming back shortly as well. That'll be nice. A little bit of a caster and some healing to try and sustain some of these units, but at this point, the Omen of Asaurian is basically uncontested. There's not really anything that can take it out here, funny enough. Omen carry? Yeah, I think that was actually Omen carry. Well, I don't know. Was that the Omen carry or the Pure Maiden Company with their armor sundering? What do you guys think? I mean, the Omen did a lot of damage to Durthu there, I'm not going to lie. Did trade actually pretty nicely in that engagement, and if you look at the stats, it kind of makes sense, actually. One of the Phoenix's weaknesses is it doesn't have that many splash attack targets. Like, its splash attack is actually pretty weak, but it does have a lot of weapon strength overall, and so it's good against kind of single targets in the right situation. That fire magic damage being very specifically synergistic there. Yeah. Sorry, just gotta answer that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, man. Wood Elves are definitely making a push back, though. in terms of model count, they're doing okay here. It's just the lack of leadership is going to be a problem. The Wild Riders getting through, compromising the Shadow Warriors, pretty good stuff. They're able to take out a few models there. Nice Earthblood as well on some of these higher value targets. The Wildwood Rangers, if they can get in and get on those Pure Main Company, that'll be pretty decent. But like mentioned, the Omen of Asuryan is going to be a problem here. Ooh, man, it's going to drop its bombardment, which I believe it actually does fire damage, I want to say. Let's have a look. Maybe. If I can get its unit card to stay. Come on, stay. Stay. Nope. Okay, it's fine. We'll check after. I do believe that ability does fire damage, though, so some of that would have been helped by the AoE fire resistance of the Firebark Elders there, but this is it. It's all over after this. Once the Branch Raid's leadership gets taken out, there's no more. Oof. A brutal attack right there by the Omen. Good stuff. What a fun one. Like to see the Omen of Asuryan very, very good. Pure Main Company also. 2 units you don't see super often performing, but absolutely wrecked there. Cattywampus. Yeah, Durthu, man. That's a rough day for Durthu. How about those Wildwood Rangers, though? Ranger on Ranger action. Getting a ton of kills there. Wildwood Riders also getting a pretty good amount of kills. Valariel and the Omen just proving way too tanky there. Likewise, the Pure Main Company actually came away with quite a few models, all things considered. Fun, fun. Fun, fun. Yeah. A nice performance from the Shadow Warriors as well. The Armor Sundering allowed them to really get some work in, helping to break up that flank at first, and then also, excuse me, and then also, of course, yeah, like I mentioned, all the fire on Durthu. Good, good, good. Well executed meme. GG. Yep. Hey, thanks, Pattywampus. I am actually going to... I was thinking I could probably fit in like 1 or 2 reserve games, but that text I was just answering was the one letting me know I need to go. So, unfortunately, that will be it for today, but we're going to be picking this back up sometime this week. It just kind of depends on projects that I have for my day job in terms of when I can stream, but it will be primarily around about this time, kind of like 10 to noon we'll be starting. Somewhere in between that time, usually Mountain Standard Time, or Mountain Daylight Time right now, rather. So, if you want to catch future streams, be sure to check during those times. Usually, I'll be putting up an announcement, hopefully like a half hour to an hour before. You'll see the stream, kind of when it will go live. And yeah, hopefully I'm going to be able to get a tournament in the next couple weeks as well. I've been thinking another Undead Band tournament is in the works. And yeah, that's it for today. I gotta go, Wicked. Unfortunately, it's some family stuff. But yeah. Yeah, thanks, man. I'll be around maybe this evening. I guess you'll probably be asleep by the time I'm back, Wicked. You go to bed early. But yeah, thanks. Thank you, guys. This is a great one. Yeah, Falcon, you should stream. Everyone, you should tell Falcon he should stream right now so that he streams and you all have something to continue to entertain you. Right? Maybe Falcon can do a King of the Hill, or even just like a quick battle stream, or just, you know, play some of the other people who are hanging around in chat who want to get some games. Where's the Tretch games? Omen stream? There we go. You guys tell him what to do. Thanks anyway, though. That's it for me for today. You guys are the best. We'll see you next time.